hi. I didn't see you there. Or did I? It's welcome back to PodGis time. Here we go. Commence. And welcome back to PodGis. Another classic Val intro for your ass. Another classic. Who knows what the very next fucking word that is going to come out of my mouth is going to be? Moment. Listen, I'm coming at you. First things first, I bet right now you're watching your screen, if you're watching, and you're saying, Ava, why is your hair wet? And listen, I was so eager. I'm coming at you guys real hot right now with these tufts falling. I'm coming at you feeling radicalized, downright radicalized. And let me tell you, I needed to hurry to come talk to you and tell you about it. And you know what? This is good. It's going to be an hour-long podcast, and my hair dries really quickly. So I decided to forego the whole hair drying making process and just let you observe it happen in real time, because this is life, baby, and this is what happens. Life is happening to us, all around us, at all goddamn times. So you're going to watch my hair dry, and then people are going to say, hey, I saw you watched, do you ever have a dreams? And you're going to go spit it out. And they're going to say, hey, I see that you've mentioned PodGis before. What's that like? What's that show like? And you'll say, it's like watching hair dry. Gink. And then you'll do a wink. And they're going to be like, well, that sounds boring. And then they'll walk away. But you will be so happy and pleased with yourself because you did a little inside joke. And what you really meant when you said it's like watching hair dry is you meant it's like watching my hair dry, which is like way more entertaining. It's entertaining. This is entertainment. Quality. It's a learning thing. You get to watch it happen. This isn't a very favorable simile comparison to me, but fuck it. If you are old enough to have played the board game Nightmare that came with a VHS tape, and it was this board game where like with a VHS tape, and it was like an hour-long game, and you put the VHS tape and hit play, and you would play the board game, and then you would get interrupted at certain times by the gravekeeper, I think. Not important, but the gravekeeper would interrupt, and he would progressively get uglier and more decrepit and more corpse-like over the course of the game until he was like a ghoul at the very end. And that's the opposite is what's going to kind of happen to me. I'm going to go from a sewer rat who is drenched in New York's finest pee and poo, and I'm going to come out of a fluffy-haired little gentle maiden of the field, of the corn. I'm going to be a gentle maiden of the corn. So, and you're going to get to watch that live, and people are going to say, what's your favorite episode of PodGis? And you're going to go, easy peasy, this is number one with a bullet. It's the one where I watched Ava's hair dry. And they're going to be like, oh, you're insane. And, oh, what's next? You're going to recommend that I fucking stream a backgammon tournament that you saw the other day that was especially exciting to you? Are you going to suggest, if I ask you for your TV recommendations, are you going to tell me to tune into the Antiques Roadshow every night at 6 p.m. before your curfew at the old folks' home? No, it's just what I'm saying is it's the opposite. But I digress. I'm digressing so hard because let me tell you something. I am radicalized, and I needed to tell you about it because when you get radicalized, you have so much. I'm just so radical right now that I just want to get it out, and I need to monologue about my radicalization because it just happened all at once, dude. It happened in 4 phases. When I say it happened all at once, I mean it happened in 4 phases in the span of 12 hours. Okay, so it's still compacted into a. Listen, number 1. So I'm out. I meet with a comic for coffee. We talk shop. And then on my way home, for the Toronto Whites listening, on Dundas and Bloor, on the southeast corner of Dundas and Bloor, Um, 4 times. 4 times in less than a block. I'm talking separated by, I don't know how much it is in feet. I'm gonna say 20 meters. 20 meters. A mere 20 meters, 4 times. I was walking and I keep my head low. I keep my gaze down because I'm afraid of making eye contact with people because I just assume everybody's clocking me all the time. But I was gazing down, and 4 times I saw what I'm convinced was a pile of human feces. One, not a pile, like a single human deposit of feces. Um, 4 times in 20 meters, and all four, by the way, had the boot print, not just a boot into it, but a skid. And 4 times. And then you could see the heel, like, several more secondhand deposits of the human filth after the initial contact. So, and 4 times it was the skid, then the plop, plop, plop. Okay? So that, so 4 times, I'm saying 4 times, 4 different human beings. I'm not gonna assume it's the same person because holy goddamn, how much food did you eat? And how long were you holding that in? And how did you have the uh colorectal sphincteral control to pinch off 4 equal loafs? Or was it 4 guys who are just pals and just taking a friendly old shit separated by 5 meters each? I don't know the story. I'm just piecing together the clues. I am a regular Shirley Holmes over here. So all 4 times was the contact, the skid, and the plop, plop, plop deposit 4 straight times. So now, I don't even know. Let's suppose that was one person who, just like a cartoon, stepped in a poo and then went, just like a banana peel, went whoop, 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 and did the cartoonish like stumble, and then did it 3 more times. Now, I could be speculating here, of course I could be. But the plop plop plops led to the very next one. So I think one person had a very bad day. And I'll tell you why this radicalized me. I'll tell you. Because I had a real Batman moment. Batman. Sherman Batman. Attorney at law. Out there defending the righteous. No, I had a Batman moment where I just looked at the state of this corner and I thought to myself, this fucking city, it's falling into ruin. What happened to the glorious Toronto of old? That's what I thought to myself, and I got a little bit radicalized, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what kind of a community lets 4 people take shits together 5 meters apart? This band of criminals, this band of vandals, all taking a giant pie on the sidewalk. Meanwhile, one poor victim is stepping sequentially into all 4. I'm saying pooping on the sidewalk is not a victimless crime. And what does that say about us as a society? That not only are there people out there who would do such a thing, but that it doesn't get cleaned up. We're just walking by. I went, "Whoa," and I dodged it. And I went, "Whoa," and I dodged it again. And I went, "Whoa," and again, and again, and again, and again, if you like, if you prefer that way. I don't judge you for the things you say. I say a boot. I know that. I just learned recently that it's vapid, not vapid. I've been saying vapid the wrong way. Oh, I've been saying vapid the wrong way my whole life. And you could say it's both. What if it's both? And I say yes, that fine. Yeah, what if it's both? But also I looked it up on Google and it's not, Google told me that it was vapid. So I've been mispronouncing the word that defines someone who is sans thought, someone who is a little bit empty in the head. And if that's not irony, then I don't know what is. And I'll tell you what, I feel a little bit radical just talking about that. Uh-oh, I'm feeling a little more radical. But anyways, that's example number one, the poop train today. And then what that said about the society that I live in, that radicalized me a little bit. I'm a quarter radicalized. I'm 25%, right? Okay, whatever. I can calm down. I go home. I make a sandwich. I have a delightful little lunch. And then I start checking up on my messages and my emails. And I get an email from the Actors Union that I've just recently entered into when I booked a gig, my last apprenticeship gig. Look at my hair, it's drying. Observe. Now back to me. So, a gig I booked in August that entered me into the Actors Union of Canada. Now, I'm gonna try and be careful with my words, but who knows what is about to come out of my radical mouth? Because check it out. They sent an email that said, "All right, it's the time of the year where you can renew your insurance policy with us." And I said, "Now that I'm 35 years old, now would be a good time to learn what insurance is." And so I did my research, and by that I mean I posted to Facebook asking people what insurance was. And of course, I got plenty of responses. I even got a friendly phone call or two from someone who was like, "Listen, this needs to happen now. You are 35 years old." That's not where I got radical. The more I learned about insurance, check this shit out. So now I realize that I've just entered into this union, and I haven't gotten booked any work since. And the way this works is every time you book a job, an acting job under this acting union, you put a little, you squirrel a little bit of that away automatically. A little bit gets taken away, and it goes towards your union insurance qualifier, your deduction, I think it's called. I learned deduction. There we go. Shirley Holmes and her deduction abilities. So, I feel fucking insane, but that's how it feels when you're radical. All right? From the outside, it looks insane, but I'm just radical. That's all. I'm gonna grab this stress ball real quick. So, where was I? Right. So every little bit of work I get in this next year contributes to that deduction. Now, I'm just wrapping my head around this new concept that is insurance. And I'm being, and like, I'm not that oblivious. I know basically what insurance is, but I always thought of it as like, it's like gambling. Like you go on vacation and they're like, "Do you want some like traveler's health insurance?" And in effect, you are saying, "I'm going to bet you $30 that I'm going to get severely injured on this trip. And if I win the bet, then you got to take care of me." That's what insurance is. You're like, "Hey, I got this car. I'm going to bet you this amount each month that I'm not going to crash this month. I'm going to bet you this much." And then the law says, "You have to do it. You have to bet. Welcome to Vegas, bitch. We lock the casino doors from the outside. You're locked in. It's time to gamble." So you say, "I'm going to pay this much. And if something happens to me, then..." Who wins, by the way? I was about to say I win, but now I'm fucking injured or whatever. And my car is fucked. Anyways, the concept of insurance is gambling. I just wanted to say that. So that made me a little bit more radical. Just talking about it. Made me a little radical. So, okay. Where am I now? So, okay. So since I haven't booked any gigs since August, I don't have any money towards this deductible. So I'm looking through what the union provides for a bronze level insurance package. And at first, and I was still trying to figure out what all of it meant. And it said that I would have to pay $1,000+ to opt into this thing. And in return, I get 50% off dental. I get et cetera, 50, but I was going to do it just for dental because I haven't been to the dentist in like a decade. And I know that's really bad. I know I have bad news coming my way when I go eventually, but I've just never had the fucking budget to go to the dentist. Meanwhile, my teeth are slowly turning yellow, like I'm drinking a glass of cat piss before I go to bed every night. And I'm worried about that, naturally, but I've never been able to afford a trip to the dentist because I kept waiting. I was like, eventually, surely I'll get insurance. And then I don't know what insurance is, but I'm sure insurance will take care of it. And now I find out that I got to pay $1,000 for them to pitch in 50% up to 500. So I'm giving you $1,000 for you to contribute 500 back to me. Make some sense here. And it provides a bunch of other stuff, but stuff that I don't necessarily need. Like maybe I could have used some for my pharmaceuticals, for my hormones, but they weren't in the list that I looked up. So what fucking good are you? And I'm not anti-union. So this is the part that radicalized me a little bit, but this is the kicker. So I was thinking about this. And I am so open to input. Trust me when I say that what I am doing right now, I am processing this live. So I could be, some of you love to message me after these podcasts, and some of you like to say, holy shit, that was a garbage take. I have a friend who told me that everything I said about Taylor Swift was idiotic. And you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. A lot of this stuff isn't scripted. I don't know if you noticed. Hope that didn't radicalize you. But okay, so so I was thinking, okay, so this is the theory. This is the analogy that I'm working out. And of course, let's check in on the hair. It's getting very dry. Look at it. Okay, now back to me. So the union, okay, I don't know the whole story, but I watched maybe a third of The Irishman. You've seen that? I don't know if you've seen that movie, the Scorsese movie. Scorsese, yeah. Irishman. I watched a third of that movie. I got an hour in, so I got the gist of it naturally. That movie is fucking 4 hours. I watched an hour 20 and then paused, and I saw the red bar over just a tiny bit on the screen, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm a bit radicalized. I'm not watching the rest of this movie. What the fuck? I gotta book a vacation to watch a Scorsese movie? No, get the fuck out of here. So that radicalized me a little bit just thinking about that. Holy fuck, I'm so radical right now. I gotta stop and drink a glass. But I can't stop while I'm on a roll. So I watched enough of The Irishman to deduce that the mafia has a history of connection with the union. I don't know which one. I guess it's the shipping one, but it could be with the acting one too. I am not making any accusations. All I'm doing, I'm just talking. Okay? Okay? But this is the thing. This feels very mob-like. Insurance feels very mob-like, where they're like, hey, you wanna pay this amount of money? It would be a shame if something happened to you. And you're like, yeah. In the case of acting, you would be like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. But like, what if I don't want to pay you? And they're like, well, if you don't want to get paid by us, then you ain't in the union. And you're like, okay, well, what does that mean? And they're like, well, you ain't working union gigs. You're going to work them fucking non-union gigs. And I don't know if any of you are actors out there, but non-union gigs are rife with exploitation. I've heard stories. There was an actress friend of mine who did a commercial for I don't know what it was. I totally forget. But there was a scene where they had a food fight in the kitchen with her quote unquote son, playing her son, and the kid whipped a fucking chicken leg at her face. And it hurt. But like in unions, that shit wouldn't happen. That is truly unsafe. You could get a bone in your eye. You could get salmonella in your eye. You could get a salmonella bone in your eye because someone threw a fucking chicken leg at you. Just hurled a fastball right at your face. So, what I'm saying is, this feels so mafioso where it's like, hey, you want safety from that shit? You want fucking not? Hey, it would be a shame if somebody chucked a fucking fastball chicken leg at your face. And you're like, all right, what's the alternative? Hey, just throw a little something my way and I'll take care of you. Oh, what does that mean? You go to the dentist, I'll cover some of it. How much is that gonna cost me? A little bit of it out of every paycheck, and if you don't make enough, then you gotta pay more. Oh, cool. Where do I sign up? So that radicalized me a little bit. And one more time, let me reiterate, I am not anti-union whatsoever. Because like I said, the alternative is having chicken legs whipped at my face. And I don't want that to happen. I want fair pay. I want, well, now I realize that there's no such thing as fair pay because everybody's hands are in my goddamn pockets. And this is what's radicalizing me, realizing how many fingers are in how many pockets. Look, I just realized I'm wearing this shawl, right? It's full of holes. Let me demonstrate. See that? It's full of holes. Not unintentionally. I didn't drag this out of a wood chipper. I'm only realizing now that I'm actually making fucking money, how many fingers are in my goddamn pockets. Okay? Now I felt a little radicalized by that. I was like, all I want to do is go to the dentist one time to have them say, do you floss enough? And I lie and I say, I floss once every 2 weeks. And they say, that's not enough. And I go, okay, thanks, doctor. And they go, have you been drinking a glass of cat piss every night before you go to bed? And I'll go, no, but, that kind of hurts, doc. And he'll be like, I just tell it like it is. Your teeth are so yellow. And they're kind of transparent. Are you taking progesterone? And I'll say, yeah, I'm taking progesterone. And he'll say, nice tits. And then he'll give me finger guns and then I'll get out of there. But like, what the fuck point was I making? What the fuck point was I making? Okay, so now we're at, you get my point. This feels like I am caught between, I'm in a turf war. I'm in a mafioso turf war, and I have to choose between the better of two mafias. Because I exist in an industry that is just full of desperate people like me who just want to live their dream, and people who would see that exploited. Now, unions are great. Fucking maybe I don't understand them. Maybe I'm so privileged as to have like so much of my health and so much stuff taken care of that I don't need to rely on insurance as much. I kind of think that's bogus. I want it to work for me too. Wouldn't that be nice? I haven't been to the fucking dentist since 2 Olympics. It's been at least 2 Olympics. You know? So I would win the gold in in, in cat piss drinking, and my teeth would match my medal. Okay, so if you're keeping score at home, at this point, I'm about 50% radicalized. I'm about 50%. Holy shit. We're 25 minutes in and I'm only 50% radicalized. So I'll spare you the more minute details because this one has a theme that connects with the last one. But I have been I've been dealing with the uh what's the best word for this? I've been dealing with the fallout of last year's tax return. I thought I did it properly, and I may have still done it properly. That's the thing. So I've been the CRA, the Canadian Revenue Agency, has been messaging me. They said you're missing these for. They said you owe us $11,000. You're missing these for T4s from your employers. And I said, oh, that's weird. I thought I did. I thought I submitted them. So I freaked out. $11,000. I don't have that fucking lying around. I'm too busy paying off the mafia not to throw chicken legs at my face. So I freak out. I find the T4s. I submit them. That takes a little while, but I do it. And there's a part of me that says, all right, that should clear things up. I don't owe the government $11,000 anymore. And then recently I got a message that was like, all right, we reassessed. Thanks for sending those in. You just owe us 7,000, 7,500. And I said, what the fuck? Whoa, what the fuck? And what I realize now is, I'm gonna have to hire an accountant for life now, which is like maybe a little badge of honor that I'm like finally breaking through and reaching a level where I would, I don't know, where I would need one, where I'm not doing fucking TurboTax screaming at my monitor at home for 2 weeks, just hoping that I'm doing it correctly. Mm, uh, so, uh, now I'm all hot. This thing doesn't have enough holes. Can't breathe. Busting out the guns. Okay. Where am I? Sorry, I got distracted by my guns. Okay, yeah, so the government says, hey, you owe $7,500. And with the help of some friends, after I freaked out and got a phone call, now there's still some shit that I need to figure out. I don't think this saga has yet come to an end. I believe I can't fathom why I would owe them $7,500 when that is like more than 20% of what I earn. I'm still in a low fucking tax bracket. Believe you me, I am. I'm not rolling in the cash. But I'm learning now. I didn't know this, but this beautiful nation that I've lived in my whole life and have not known I have not known a life in any other. I have had but a taste. And in this great nation that I've had so much pride in, that I've boasted about living in to people from other countries, a nation that I've held in my heart as superior. I'm not gonna lie, foolishly and uh ignorantly, in fact. I'll admit that. This nation that I took so for granted, I realize now that I've graduated to the next tax bracket, I realize how much fucking tax everybody pays, and I am radicalized. I'm so radicalized because, motherfucker, I've worked 17 years to get to this place of I'm self-employed. Oh my god, it's the dream. It's what I've always dreamed of. Escaping the 9 to 5, escaping out other people's rules, living by my own and like making my own way with my talent and my tenacity and my hard work. And here I finally am 17 years later and they're like, "Hey, congratulations on your dream. We're going to take so much from you that you have not advanced at all. Hey, congratulations." And then he just kicked me off the ladder that I was climbing. And now I'm fucking dunk, 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 back down to the bottom rung. You know, do I really actually exist in the next tax bracket if you're taking more money from me? I'm just ending up with the same amount that I had. What the fuck is this? Is the point? I'm so radicalized. Maybe I'm exaggerating. And you know what? There's a part of me that believes, yes, we need to tax the rich, but don't tax me. I'm not, I'm not even, of course I'm not rich, but also tax everyone but me. Give me a little chance to just get my feet underneath me. And I promise when I'm big and famous, I'll give way more back. I promise. Just give me a fucking chance to grow. This feels like I'm a beanstalk and I'm tuk, 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 and holy shit, it took her 17 years to grow a fucking inch and holy moly, she's sprouting at such a rate. Wow, good for her. And then someone came up with shears and just went clank and cut off the top of my fucking head so I can't get to the like better sun. I was getting up there. They say you need to spend money to make money. And I was going to spend this money on things such as, I was going to spend it on fucking electrolysis for my face and transition related stuff that would have made me feel a little bit more happy with myself and better in my own body. I would have spent it on fucking maybe camera equipment. I would have spent it within my business. I would have spent it on merchandise. I would have spent it on fucking travel, going on tours, spending money to make money. Now, how? I ask you, how can I do that if I'm fucking 1 year in to this beautiful new life? Not just one. But I've been like fucking on the margins. But 1 year of my life finally breaking through, just to have it be like, nope, you gotta make more in order to spend more to make more. So tell me, where's the fairness in that? I feel radicalized. I'm making less because I'm making more. You know what I mean? You could call this one Ava Discovers Tax Brackets, because I was truly ignorant to all this. And I want to go back to the days when I took it all for granted. When I was like, oh, I've torn my ACL once again. Please, Papa government. Please, Papa Canada. Save me. And, I went under anesthesia and I woke up and I was in excruciating pain, but not a nickel spent from my own account. However, I have now grown up to realize that nickel was in fact spent from my account. It was spent from everyone's account. And I'm paying for everyone else's ACLs, and I'm paying for the roads. And of course, that is something that I believe in. Yes, I am part of society. I'm a contributing member. This is what makes a society. This money is going towards what I presume are our social programs and roads. I keep coming back to the roads, but fuck it, the roads. And Tim Hortons. Yeah, healthcare, education. I want the youth to grow up educated. Of course I do. I don't want the money going towards the Catholic school system. Can I tell them not to put money in there? Can I tell the fucking government not to put my money that I now suddenly owe, all this fucking money that I suddenly owe? Can I tell them not to spend it on a fucking genocide? Can I ask them to do that? Can I have a little control in where my money goes? Then maybe I might feel a little bit better. But no, instead, I am radicalized. I feel radicalized because I'm left with this feeling. Today, I had this profound, is this it feeling? And holy shit, I am reeling. That is why I came up here. That's why I started this podcast with so much chutzpah and so much piss and vinegar. The piss I'm saving for later, by the way, before I go to bed. That's so gross, but I'm gonna keep calling it back. God, that was really funny, and I'm kind of proud of myself for that one. Oh man, and now I'm fucking belaboring the point. I'm kind of ruining the joke because I'm holding your hand through it afterwards. Why did I do that? I'm never gonna do that again. If you guys miss these cues, then that's on you. You don't know me well enough yet to really fucking. Anyways, god damn it. So, where was I? I hope you don't mind what I'm spitting right now, but I am learning what it is to be an adult. And what being an adult is a series of stunning, harrowing, cynicizing? Is that a word? What's the verb for cynical? Cynicism making moments that are like, oh, is this it? You know? A 17-year career of labor and hope only to reach the next level and stand on the other side of the precipice, looking around myself like, oh, is this it? Is this it really? You know? And I gotta believe that there's even better. I'm on a good trajectory. I gotta hold on to hope and keep going and trying. Of course I gotta believe it's gonna get better. But if it's gonna get better, that's also gonna mo money, mo prob. I'm learning about. Oh my god. That really hurt when I slapped myself there. Ow. But I'm also learning about mo money, mo problems. You guys are learning about me, learning about more money, more problems. Radicalized. I'm radicalized. And you know, I'm sure I'm going to speak on your behalf. I'm sure some of you are listening to all of this and going, Val, you naive bitch. You naive, you silly child. What convenient rose-colored glasses you have been observing the world. What a beautiful field of gillyflowers you've been frolicking through up until 35 years old. You have enjoyed such a beautiful, privileged life. And now you are finally learning reality of what it means to be an adult and to contribute to a free society. And I'll tell you, I'm feeling a little radical. I'm feeling like a klepto. I'm feeling like this is my villain arc story. This is how I decide I need to start swiping limes and avocados. I like making guacamole. Guacamole should be my reward for being a contributing citizen. I'm gonna give the government 75 fucking $100 out of nowhere that I didn't save up for. Now I'm learning that every contract that I have signed for stand-up and for TV, they didn't factor in the tax, which I thought they did all this time, but when you're self-employed, they don't, and you have to do a taxing in your head that nobody fucking told me about. And so now it's end of the year time where the government goes, knock, knock, knock. Hey, where's that tax you should have known about that now you have to give us? Thanks, government. Come on. Ugh. You know? And I'll say at that point, once I came up with that realization, this oppressive, heavy, is this it feeling. I went to the gym to work it off, and, you know, I just mentioned my ACL. My knee is fucked. I tried doing some leg press on the machine, and there's something. It's like the movie fucking Alien. There's something under my skin. I won't be too graphic. That is just, you can kind of see it moving around against my skin. And eh, and it crinkles like a bag of kettle chips. Sorry. I'm sorry to be graphic, but I have mentioned drinking cat piss maybe 8 times so far. I opened with a story about a guy whoop 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 banana peel sliding across 4 human turds. But I would say I was 95% radicalized. I went to the gym. I saw that my knee has an alien inside of it, a crinkly, crackly golem, a fucking rock alien, rattling around in my knee, about to burst out and destroy my life. And, you know, I got 100% radicalized at that point. That was it. I'm radicalized. And, you know, and also, okay, let's say I'm 4% radicalized. The last 1%, fuck it. We're gonna just put that in my gender. We're just gonna put that in there. The fact that I you know, I practice on and off with the vocal training, and it goes sometimes well, and other times I feel like fucking Earl Jones. What the fuck is that guy's name? James Earl Jones. That wasn't the guy I was thinking of, but it was close enough to what I said. Sometimes I think, oh my god, I sound delightful. I sound like a fucking gilly maiden and a gilly flower of field corn. Frolicking around. I am a milkmaid. I'm a milkmaid. I'm a Lithuanian milkmaid from the 1300s with the sweetest song who has known nothing but sunshine and the love of her family. I sound delightful. And then other days it'll feel like I've fucking backslided. And then most days it'll feel like I haven't gone anywhere at all. So today's one of those days I feel like James Earl fucking Jones. Radical. I feel radical. Was James Earl Jones radical? I don't know. He was Mufasa, right? He was the patriarch. That's exactly the opposite. He was the 1%. James Earl Jones. Look at that guy. He's still kicking. 91, 93 years old. God, he's always been handsome, huh? Handsome guy. Good for you. Darth Vader. Look at him wearing that crown. He's wearing the fuck out of that crown. You wear that crown, bitch. Classy looking fella. Maybe it's the glasses. I don't know. There's him with a page boy cap. I don't know if that's what those are called, but comes to mind. Oh man. He had a real smolder as a youth. Real smolder face. Radical. I'm radical now. No more Mrs. Nice Girl. And you know, there, my hair dried. Let's check in on the hair. It's dry. Didn't do shit. This is how it dries. One side looks looks like I conditioned one side and forgot to condition the other. One side is made of fine silk and the other is made of wheat. Why is it so fucking fluffy here? Radicalized. This is fucking radicalizing me. I'm getting radicalized. Anyways, can you imagine how much angrier, excuse me. Can you imagine how much angrier I would be if I stepped in that shit? That would have been I would have radicalized way sooner. You know? Oh, I posted about Cerberus today. La la la. I posted about Cerberus today. Anyways. Anyways, I'm just gonna talk about something else. Just move right on. Oh, there's a bunch of shit that I wanted to talk about. Now that I'm back from Vancouver, oh my god. Holy shit, I spent 42 minutes talking about being radicalized. Are you radicalized? Did I radicalize anyone out there? Are you feeling radical? I hope you don't. I hope you can all go forth out there with bright, shining, optimistic eyes. I hope you can all believe in the American dream. I was hit with the reality. Listen, I've always harbored a little resentment towards my American neighbors because I always thought it was silly that they spoke as if they were the only free country in the world, that they invented it, that they invented freedom, that they're the only ones who are free. Just silly, stupid fucking notions like that, especially when I live in a country where I'm free from gun violence and I'm free to break my legs and go have them looked at without all of a sudden paying my entire life savings. So now, okay, that just de-radicalized me. At least it's the government coming up to my door to be like, hi, you owe us $7,600 out of nowhere, rather than me getting shot, the victim of a shooting, and then going to the hospital and then being like, hey, congratulations, you survived this horrific ordeal. Now you owe $100,000. You're welcome for saving your life. Pay up, bitch. So, I'm a little less radicalized, and I hope I didn't just pass on the radicalization to you guys. But I have plenty to not be radicalized about. I have plenty to be grateful about. And you are catching me currently in the early stages. I am processing everything that is happening to me. Yes, I am very worried about my financial future because I didn't prepare for this at all. This was a very difficult lesson to learn in setting aside a little bit of money that I make every single day. But how can I when everything goes towards bills? And how much money will I have left towards fucking life, transition shit, fucking groceries and my electrolysis, and I won't be so superficial as to say hair and makeup, but yeah, a little bit. The validating shit. That's gender affirming, bitch. I'll say it. Makeup is gender affirming. Call me an anti-feminist. I'm sure any feminist would be like, yeah, that's fine. Makeup is fine. Speaking of, I got hired to do an International Women's Day show for the Canadian government. Maybe I should bring this up with them. Oh my god, I should do the whole tirade. I'm only booked to do 15 minutes, but I'll do 45 minutes. Just the same thing. I'm going to memorize everything that I've said up to this point. I'm going to come out and be like, I was walking on the corner of Dundas and Bloor. By the way, I drink cat piss every night before I go to bed and my teeth are going yellow. I was walking up Dundas and Bloor and I saw 4 piles of human excrement. What the fuck are you guys doing? I just yell at them. What the fuck are you guys doing? I owe you guys $7,600 if people are shitting on the streets. People are stepping in it too. Happy International Women's Day. Who run the world? Girls? Well then fucking do better. People are shitting on the sidewalk. Right, okay. Vancouver stories. You know what? It shouldn't be all bad and cynical, and I'm gonna actively for the rest of this thing try and de-radicalize myself, but I'm also gonna I got some shit. I got some stories. But I'm gonna break it up with this. I'm gonna say, if you're I wrote this because I think I was on the phone with somebody. And I was talking about I have a gig this weekend at a ski resort. So I'll get to go snowboarding. And like, what a gift, truly. I'm blessed. How nice. I'm gonna have to take all the money that I earned this weekend and just fork 100% over it to the government. I have to give 100% of what I earn now to the government until this thing fucking clears up. I thought this year would be the year I'd finally get back to doing electrolysis, burning the fucking hairs permanently off my face, so I don't have to feel like James Earl Jones when I wake up every morning. But I wrote this. Let's break it up a little bit. I wrote this. If you're not occasionally saying, "wee" out of joy, then you ain't living. And you know, I think I had that thought last week when I was in Vancouver. When I was doing shows every single night for 10 days. -2. I had 2 nights off in between. 2 shows a night for 5 of those nights. It was fucking electric. It was awesome. It was such a good time. And I opened for Tina Frimmel at the Pearl, and that was a delight. And she is so wonderful and so funny and so delightful. And I hope this is the beginning of a blossoming friendship because I love her. She's great. And you know, I just had that thought. If you're not occasionally stepping outside of yourself and saying, "wee" at, at everything around you and at who you are and at what you're doing, if you don't have a little moment every once in a while to go, "wee," then what kind of a life are you living? You know? Reflect on that. Well, I loved my life until I was radicalized. I loved my life until it was brutally taken from me by the mafia and the government. 2 different people, believe it or not. 2 different groups. 2 different levels of organized crime. But still, I joke. I will overcome. As I always do, I'll go on some kind of fucking government payment plan if I have to. I'll go back to serving tables, for fuck's sake. You know, I worked for so long, and congratulations on your dream. Here's congratulations on your 1 step forward. Here's 3 steps back. You know? Playing a board game and I was on a roll and I landed on the go back 5 spaces space. You know? So I gotta go back 5 spaces. I gotta grow out my beard like James Earl Jones. Sorry, guys, for the next few PodGis episodes. For the next while. This is gonna. I'm that meme of Tiger King going, this is gonna financially ruin me. I am financially ruined. How am I supposed to fucking make that back? And maybe, and then, you know, paying an immigration lawyer anywhere between up to 13,000, I've heard in some cases, around 10,000 on average, for an immigration lawyer to handle my case, my portfolio, and foster my acquisition of a U.S. work visa. That takes a shit ton of money. That's $10,000. It's almost like Canada is like, no, we're going to chain you down here. You can't leave. You owe us too much. How am I supposed to pay for fucking an American work visa if I'm... Oh, how am I supposed to pay for electrolysis? How am I supposed to pay for eventually maybe a facial feminization surgery? I'll tell you, in the escapades when it comes to like my government-funded breast augmentation, I forget what episode I talked about this, but I talked about how I could potentially qualify for government-funded, subsidized, OHIP subsidized breast enhancement on the grounds of gender-affirming surgery. And I see that for the incredible privilege that it is, the gift. And I understand now who is paying for it. And the answer is all of us. So I would like to preemptively, I don't think I qualify just yet. I mean, I think I do qualify, but I'm not going to say so yet until I know for sure. But I am just going to hypothetically say thank you out there for paying your taxes and for contributing to a society that would see people like me get gender affirming care. I think that's a beautiful thing. So here I am. There we go. I'm reframing. I'm rephrasing. I'm de-radicalizing myself slowly. But also, the government shouldn't be fucking paying for a genocide. I'm not changing my mind about that. But you know, live a life that makes you go wee, even if on the other side of it, the government's gonna knock on your door and say, "Fun's over." Fun's over. No more fun for you. You belong fucking waiting tables. Yeah, all that talent, all that success you're experiencing, not on my watch. I'll have a cheeseburger with fries. Go punch it in on that POS. You POS. I'm like a rapper. That was fucking bars. POS is point of sale, in case you didn't know. And then POS is piece of shit, in case you didn't know that either. I know I said I wouldn't hold your hands through jokes, but like that was, you know, that could have been a deep cut. I want to make sure I don't leave anybody behind. I want you to say we too, even if it takes me explaining a joke for you to recognize what I'm doing here. Okay, anyways. I shouldn't have zoomed out. Now you can see I'm performing in my pajama pants. How unprofessional of me. All right, so breathe. I'll tell you a low light and a highlight. Oh, there was so much I wanted to talk about. Fuck. Never got to it because I was so radicalized. All right. Longest rant of all times. Here we go. All right. I'll start with a low light, but it'll get positive. So, there was a show. I won't dwell on this too much, but I need to share anyways, just to get it off my chest. This is real getting off my chest experience here. But, on one of the shows, I won't say which one, and I won't say who, but, the host misgendered me. And, um, I understand that people who have known me pre-transition, it might be a little bit more difficult for them to make the change because they remember me a certain way, of course. I mean, I think I was pretty forgettable back then. So at least I was hoping that would be the case. But this host who knew me from before, maybe not particularly well, but he knew me, used he in his intro of me, and I had to shout from the back of the room, "It's she!" And naturally, he stuttered on stage and was like, "Oh fuck, oh yeah, she, sorry." But he was in the middle of the intro, and so he had to finish the fucking intro. And I gotta tell you, there's nothing, there's nothing that fucking sets a comedian back. There's a lot of the host. A host's intro can be a delicate thing. It's it's fairly easy to get it right. I'm not gonna lie. When you've been doing it long enough, there are just a few rudimentary things you need to do. You don't have to make it complicated. At least when it comes to intros. You know, emceeing is very difficult, but the introing of comedians should be one of the easier parts of it. And like, you know, however, how you how you introduce a comic is of course very important. If you say whatever generic thing, that is totally fine. You can say your next comic is very funny. Please welcome to stage Val. That is totally fine. Totally fine. You don't have to fucking prose me up as some Olympian hero. You know, this your next comic drinks so much piss. No, your next comic has this credit and is this credit and is God's gift to fucking comedy. I'm doing shows in Toronto now where the new kids are like are blowing me up to be some like I've reinvented the art of the joke, and that's fucking stupid. Because I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna tell butt poo poo jokes the same way everybody else is, especially when I'm working on a new hour. My shit's not gonna be good, so I don't need you telling people that I'm this goddess from upon high who has come down on a Tuesday night of all nights to grace us all, to bless us with her fucking presence. I don't need that. So there's you could screw it up that way, but also getting misgendered in an intro is a special kind of air out of my sails kind of thing. And I feel like I can very much relate to any of the trans comedians out there who get misgendered in the intro. Just how, like, depending on who you are, it could be devastating. It was made a little bit more disappointing, I'm not gonna lie, that it was like a JFL show. And so, you know, it's at a festival and you expect a certain it's everything's just hyped up. It just feels a little bit more special and precious, these opportunities, you know? And so getting misgendered when you go up on stage, it fucking takes the wind out of your sails because even though I obviously talk about being trans on stage a lot, it's still on my own terms. And when somebody misgenders me before I go up, then I have to address it. It's almost like you've endowed me with something that I have to address to break the tension. You have created tension and then passed it on to me that I need to diffuse. And I'm not saying this that it's in any way intentional. Of course it's not. He came up and apologized afterwards and like he was very he was cool about it too. He acknowledged he was like, I know it's not your job to like comfort me after I've screwed up either. I understand that. I understand that I'm putting you in a fucking I'm acknowledging that I'm putting you in a shitty position even after you've performed and here and now afterwards. But I do sincerely apologize, and I know I'm like I know how sincere all of that is. And in that situation, it still fucking sucks. So I have to acknowledge. I'm like, yeah, that does suck for me. That hurts, and I know you're trying, and I acknowledge that. And thank you, thank you for saying all this. And like, do better. Sorry, try. Be a little bit more mindful. I hope this. I don't want to sound like a fucking. I didn't want to patronize him, but at the same time, I did actually say I was like, I hope you kind of learn to like pay closer attention to this stuff and be like really mindful next time you bring up a trans person because it sucks. I don't want you to do this to anybody else. So I really hope that this stuck for the next person, Um, because it could happen to less experienced comics. I'm not gonna lie. I went up there and like I can recover, but I don't want to have to. Is what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. But it's just it's disempowering is all it is. And it feels like I'm like stumbling out of the gate. So just want to say, if you are a comedian and entertainer and MC, and and you find yourself in a role in which you need to introduce um a comedian that you know is trans, I don't care what you have to do backstage or in between acts, but like drill it home, drill it in, drill it into your head. Get the fucking pronoun right. Anyways. And it comes with so much fucking baggage. It fucking hurts to get misgendered out of a goddamn Tim Hortons. You know? So like naturally I'm dealing with the feelings involved in that, and I'm trying to compartmentalize them and set them aside to do my job and make funny haha, which is a challenge, and god damn it I deserve respect for that, for being such an expert at like fucking compartmentalizing these things and emotionally boxing them away in order to like fucking get the job done and be funny for people. Getting misgendered and then immediately being like, go be funny is like, you have to really be on it in terms of like, fucking, we're gonna, we're gonna repress those feelings because here we go. It's almost psychotic, but that level of emotional fucking control. But no less kind of impressive. But yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's that point. But I will say this. Um, a great intro. I've already explained what a bad intro might look like, but a great intro from an MC is fabulous. Like oh yeah. When you have an MC with enthusiasm and who keeps the show rolling and who has a creative, you can say cliches like, I'm going to keep this comedy train rolling when you just need to get the next act up. What else is there really truly to say? The more creative you get with that stuff, that's great, as long as it's not like detracting from the show or being distracting. So, you know, great intros as an MC make a difference. It's so funny when you yourself are the MC for a show. There are uh oh, that's okay. So I performed for a week at Comedy After Dark in Vancouver. It's a fabulous little club. I'll be honest, it can be kind of hit or miss. The acoustics aren't ideal, but of course, it is a profoundly amazing space to do comedy, and I'm so grateful. I love that place. I love it to death. And Susie, who runs the place, is a saint and an angel, and I couldn't recommend that place enough. It can be a challenge some nights, but that's not a bad thing. Um, but she always has. This is what I like about that place. Another one of the many things, of course. Um, and of course the staff. Shout out to them. But she has somebody. She has the sound person intro the host, which is so helpful because the comedy chains that I've been to, most of them have the bigger chains have a pre-recorded, it's routine. Every single show, fucking Absolute Comedy plays Lose Yourself by Eminem. That's their like curtain call time. They're like show start time. They play Lose Yourself. Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity. It is so it's for a comedy show. But whatever, if you're a comic at the back, especially when I was starting out, it would get me so hyped up. Oh, go about to crush it. Which now that I'm a completely different person and I have a completely different approach to getting on stage, it's kind of silly to me. But but I can see why it would be a hype thing. Whatever. You better lose yourself, and everybody's just in a circle, fucking pumping their whole bodies to lose yourself. Anyways, who's that for? No, I guess it's a hype song. Yeah, what the fuck am I doing making fun of it? Anyways, what am I in the cipher? Whoop! I don't know if you guys heard that. I tooted. I didn't have to say that. Why did I say that? Oh man, some of my listeners aren't going to be attracted to me anymore. Oh, haha! I queefed. There, that's cuter. Oh man. That's stupid. Oh, I wish I could take all that back. Anyways. Okay, get to the fucking point. So there are some comedy chains that have a pre-recorded message. Whoop. Where it's like this pre-recorded thing that has, the music changes from Lose Yourself by Eminem to this upbeat jazzy, like with fucking maracas, shuka 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 shuka. And then some of them have like cartoons where they're like, are you ready, Bob? Bob, are you ready, Bebop? Or it was like, yeah, Charles. And you're like, who are these disembodied fucking voices? Who are these cartoon characters on the radio that oh, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's get the show started. Fucking things that nobody even really thinks about. Some clubs have these cartoon fucking things. Okay, everyone remember to keep your phones on silent. and make sure you don't answer your phones and no flash photography. Right after Lose Yourself. Vomit on the sweaty already, Mom Spaghetti. Vomit on the sweaty already, Mom Spaghetti. Turn your phones off, because we're about to have a good time. So it's always this pre-recorded thing that culminates in, they're like, are you ready to bring up your MC of the night? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. And then the audio cuts out, and then they get one of the staff at the venue to go on the mic at the back and announce the MC for that night, because obviously it's a different MC from week to week, from show to show perhaps. So they have this jazzy pre-recorded, oh everybody, are you guys ready to have a good time? Woo! It's time for a whimsy. This is the intro. You better lose yourself in the Mom Spaghetti and vomit on his sweater already. He's intense, he's in the cipher. Oh, you guys ready for a comedy show? Please welcome Val. Everyone cheers. Because that's the part that I forgot. I should have fucking set that part up. But they get a staff member to intro you, and these people are just serving staff or whoever. They're just regular old people who aren't there to entertain. They're in the hospitality industry. So they always get some guy to like go on the mic and just say your name. And it never matches that level of whimsy. They've got fucking Nickelodeon, they got fucking SpongeBob doing the pre-intro intro. Oh, everybody, please welcome to the stage, Alval. It is so funny. Wow. How doesn't anyone talk about this stuff? It is so common. Yuck Yucks does it instead. So Absolute does Lose Yourself before the goofy intro, but Yuck Yucks does Ballroom Blitz. Ballroom Blitz, chicka 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 Ballroom Blitz. But I don't know if they have a cartoon thing. I forget. I don't think they have a cartoon thing. I think they do have a pre-recorded thing, but I think it's just a guy with But that's the thing. Even with that, even if it's just a guy who's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start, so please, keep your cell phones off and let's ready to have a laugh. Please welcome to the stage your host." And then whoever has been hired to be on the back mic to say the host name is just they're not an entertainer. So they always go, "Al Val." And it's just Ew! It never matches up, but it does. It's adorable. I don't blame the person. I blame the conditions. Those are hilarious. So all that to say, right? I'm saying that at Comedy After Dark, the person that they get to, I think his name was Randy all week, and they got another guy to fill in, but both of them did a great job enthusiastically, like, laying out the ground rules and then bringing up the host. I hope I get his name right. Randy. I think it's Randy. I think it's Randy. Randy I think he has a background in, like, wrestling and shit, and so whatever it is, he gives fantastic intros. Gets the crowd hype as shit and then brings you up with, like, fucking enthusiasm. That stuff is, like, mwah. It's a godsend. It's great. Better than, "Hey, everybody, I'm a cartoon flounder that you've never met before." The mascot for Absolute Comedy is a platypus, so it could be the platypus. I don't think I gotta pay closer attention to the intro next time, but, like, is it him? Does he have a name? "Hey, everybody, I'm Paul the Platypus. Please turn off your cell phones." What the fuck does this platypus know about cell phones? You know? Okay, anyways. Uh, ooh, couple more things before I get out of here. Um, I just, at this point, at this point, I can't even tell where my fucking voice is at. At this point, I can't even tell where my fucking voice is at. And I should be experimenting more. And I should be doing stuff like this to really practice my vocal range. But, you know, fucking, I'm trying. And it makes me lightheaded. And I'm trying not to sound forced. And I'm just trying to sound fucking like a woman, and it's not really working. And it's making me radicalized. Feeling radicalized. Anyways, one last thing. The trip was great. I stayed with my brother. I stayed with Steve Letts. He is also a wonderful comic in Vancouver. Shout out to him. He is a delight. His cats. He has two cats, Lenny and Rosa. Mm-hmm. And who are very terrified of guests who would sit in the doorway and stare at me and unblinkingly stare. And I learned not to take that personally because apparently they do that with every guest. But I was one of the few ever, they said, and I don't think they were paying me lip service. I think they were being honest. But I was one of the first few to, within the 3 days I stayed there, to actually get the opportunity to pet Lenny. Their cats do not let you near them. Their cats fucking skitter away, bang into shit. They fucking panic if you make a move in their direction. They freak the hell out. But I got close enough to Lenny. I earned Lenny's trust enough I got to pet him. I got to pet him. So, you know, I have a good heart. You know when people say, "Oh, my dog only approaches nice people, good people," and then they go away later and they're like, "I tell that to everybody to make them feel good about themselves." No, no. I sincerely, 100%, I'm doing the empath shit. Everybody who says they're an empath is full of shit. Everybody who says I have a special way with animals is probably full of shit, but I have a special way with animals. I do. I do. Dogs, it's because I fucking sweet talk them and I give them so much love and cuddles and I ignore all the human beings around. I think it's just a matter of just like pure doting on something. I am unrelenting and I am subservient to animals with the amount of adoration that I give them. So, I'm just saying, I'm good with animals and Lenny let me pet him. So, that's that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And one more thing, big shout out to, oh man, I'm going to tell this story real quick. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I take that story back. And instead, I'm going to replace it with the sorry, I'm not sorry. Huh. Gonna chug a bunch of water. Did she just spill the tea? Nope. Yeah. It's just water. That didn't make a lick of sense. Mm-hmm. Mama needs to hydrate. Shout out to a gentleman that I met on the plane on the way home from Vancouver to Toronto. Shout out to Andrew. Andrew, if you're listening, it was so nice meeting you. You are such a doll, such a delight. I know I mentioned earlier in this podcast, Andrew, if you have stuck around through this whole thing, God bless you. I really appreciate you. And let me tell you the story of Andrew real quick. So, as I mentioned before, I keep to myself. I keep my eyes down whenever I'm walking anywhere. I spare the eye contact, and I there's a part of me that worries that that is not good, and I should be brave enough to make some more like real, authentic human connections, even in those fleeting little eye contact exchanges. But people fucking intimidate me, and the idea that people are like clocking me, or that somebody I've been called all kinds of shit muttered under their breaths or to my face, that I just, the risk isn't worth it at this point. Doesn't feel like it. But maybe I'm forgetting the good in the world. But anyways, I keep to myself, and especially on an airplane, it can feel a little claustrophobic when you get involved in a conversation with somebody that you would much rather, I would just much rather, live in my own bubble, which is very antisocial, but like, I'm surely not the only one. But we got hit with this like really gut-wrenching turbulence at one point, and I looked over at this guy sitting beside me who, gave me a warm smile when I came to sit down. And then of course I avoided any kind of contact, but this like, oh, it was one of those jumps, those plane jumps that you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna die." And I looked over at him and he was like, eh, and he did this like fucking daredevil-y this devil may care eyebrow fucking smile, like, let's do this. This goddamn Vin Diesel, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Jason Statham ass over here. And so I thought that was charming. But still I was like worried, It's like this guy knows I'm trans and it might be weird. I don't know. Fuck. And so finally, I think we say like 2 or 3 more things to each other at one point. And also, I don't like speaking, of course, in public. I'm so self-conscious about my fucking voice all the time. So, we say 2 or 3 things. I'm trying so hard not to talk for the bounty of reasons I've just told you. And then when the plane finally lands, and we're at the back of the plane, we're at the very back, pretty much. And everybody fucking gets up, and everybody fucking stands there for 20 minutes. And I am a huge proponent of like, what is standing up gonna get you? Like, I understand if maybe you want to stretch your legs or something like that, but you had every opportunity, every opportunity to do that. It's a 5-hour flight. You could have, you could have done that. You're not getting off any sooner if you just whip up to your feet as soon as the lights come on and the seatbelt off sign comes on. I just never understood it. We're all getting off at the same time, and if you have fucking checked baggage, we're all gonna wind up there, and the baggage is gonna come out when we're all gathered there. We're all gonna get there in time for the first bag to come out. So I just never fucking got it. Hold your horses. Or do you, I don't know. It's whatever. So naturally, Andrew next to me also felt the same way. And so he was like, "Hey, so why aren't you standing up?" That's how he said it. He was like, "Why aren't you standing up?" And I was kind of like dumbfounded. And of course, I don't want to use my voice, but I'm being put on the spot. So I say, um, because 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 we're not going to get off because I said it a lot more concisely, but I was like, because the doors aren't open because we're not getting off the plane. We'll get off eventually. And he was like, exactly. And then we had a good laugh about that. And then this Andrew guy, he travels a lot. And in this, while we were waiting for the line to move, 20 fucking minutes of people standing there with their necks pressed up against, you know how you stand and you can't stand in the aisle because somebody beat you to it. So instead you're standing up with your head fucking craned like you're a corpse in the Thriller music video that died from getting your neck fucking snapped or rolled over by a by 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 fucking a Caterpillar construction vehicle. It took a while, but we got there. So anyways, Andrew tells me all about this shit. He travels so much. He's been to Toronto Pearson Airport so often that, get this, he tells me about the Dirty Dozen. And I'll never forget this, even though I had to check my notes to confirm. But yep, now it's locked in. The Dirty Dozen, apparently, according to Andrew, is, and I don't even know if I should give this up. Oh, he did. Andrew, forgive me for what I'm about to do. If you told me this in confidence, as if it is a secret between us, then I apologize. But like, you can see the views on YouTube below. There, nobody's really watching this. But your secret's safe with us. But he told me about the Dirty Dozen. This Andrew guy, knew about the best washrooms in the entire fucking Pearson Airport. This guy travels so much that he told me that the best bathrooms, the least used, the most pristine, in-condition bathrooms that are now about to be used by my fans and I exclusively. Feels like a cool little club, little membership, the Andrew Club, we'll call it. He said that the best washrooms at Pearson Airport are D12 through some other, like around the D12 area. I forget. He gave me a set number, but he said that's how to remember it. He was like the Dirty Dozen, D12, and like around there. So go to the gate D12, and he was like, there's a set of washrooms in that area. But also, he's a guy, and I'm going to use the women's washroom, so who knows? It could be a different experience entirely. It could be it could be dirty for literal reasons on the women's side. Who knows? But maybe I'll be able to contact Andrew later and be like, hey, I went to the women's washroom in D12, and you are absolutely right. This applies across the board. You and I together can certify this as a real thing. Anyways, he told me about the fucking Dirty Dozen. He told me we walked together to baggage claim, and he pointed out, he was like, right up there, you see that? That is the best lounge in the airport up there, and it's free. And nobody knows about it because he like pointed it out. It was kind of tucked away in a corner up some stairs behind a thing. He was like, nobody knows about it. Look, and it's in plain sight. It's like overlooking this area, but like nobody ever knows how to get up there. And you go up those stairs and you go to that lounge. They got couches. You can lay down. You can have a nap. Blew my mind. I don't know where those are. I think I vaguely do. I vaguely remember. Couldn't tell you where those are. I know fucking picture-wise in the photographic part of my memory where they are. I think they were just past one of the security checks, like straight ahead. Ah. Oh, and I think there was that vending machine full of cakes, like slices of cake in a vending machine. I do remember that. The first time I walked by that thing. There was like a rainbow cake with rainbow insides. Nuts. I don't know if it had nuts in it. I'm just saying that was crazy. Anyways, so Andrew and then we talked, and then he told me he let slip. He just dropped that he has a husband back home. So Andrew works in, oh god, he told me it was like he described it. It had 9 words in it, so you can guarantee my forgetful ass is not going to remember what it was. But it was like basically he like makes sure that emergency fucking contact for things is operational. Oh god, I'm a child. I just learned what insurance is. You can't expect me to remember a real fucking adult job, okay? I'm sorry for that part, Andrew. But Andrew has a husband and is part of the LGBT community, and apparently is the only, he said he's the only out gay man in his sector or his industry, in his company, I think he even said. So like when they celebrate a Pride Month thing, we had a laugh that it's just kind of him. And I was joking that, what do they give you, like a cupcake with a single rainbow candle in there? They're like, happy gay. Happy gay time. We appreciate you, gay. Enjoy your cupcake, cupcake. So, oh, that's funny. I should write that down. That's kind of funny. I think it's funny, so it's funny. If it's funny to me, it's funny to you, and that's why I'm radical in a much better way. Anyways, I think that's it. Yeah, I just wanted to shout out Andrew, my experience with this Andrew guy. I want you guys to know about Andrew, and I want the world to know that Andrew made me feel really nice in that exchange, and made me feel, changed my mind for the better to be a little bit more open to conversing with people in my travels, and to maybe expect a little bit better in my fellow man and what their snap opinions of me are going to be. And maybe to just like expect a little less prejudice in the world and a little more camaraderie. So thank you, Andrew. And thank you for teaching me about the Dirty Dozen and the one lounge that I think it was in the F gate section. It could be A's or B's. I'm not sure. I forget that part, but I'll know it when I see it. I know what it looks like visually. All the best to you, Andrew. Have a radical day, everyone. I'm sorry if I radicalized you. Part of me is sorry, and part of me isn't. Because now, get ready for my villain era. This is it. I'm a villain now. This is it. And then I'm going to change my voice to be fucking sexy. And I'm going to be a sexy vampire woman. And I'm going to be a sexy fucking klepto vampire. And I'm going to go to 24-hour Rabbas because I can't go out during the day. And I'm going to fucking steal their hummus that is overpriced at this 24-hour Rabba because I'm sticking it to the fucking man, and I'm not going to pay. And I'm going to pay I'm going to have to pay my $76 to the government, and I'm going to speak in a breathy, fucking sexy voice. Anyways, now I'm lightheaded again. What's the point? What's the point? I'm drinking my water angrily. Okay, that's it. Have a good radical. Hope you're not radicalized. Hopefully I'm not radicalized next week, but we will be back. We're gonna be back on track. I don't think I have any road trips coming up for a while. Fuck yeah. So I'll be able to post with regularity. And if I miss an episode, that's because I was radicalized and I'm out committing crimes against the government and not against the people. I will make sure that they are targeted towards the machine and not towards the people who are victim to it, such as you and I. I'm looking at the clock. I want to hit an hour 30 on my clock. So I apologize for if I'm stalling. If it feels like I'm stalling, you can feel free to stop at any point. I'm stalling. I have like 4 seconds until I hit the 1 hour 30 mark. I just kind of wanted to see it. I wanted to get there, and there we are, and that's nice. And I feel a little anything that might contribute to my de-radicalization. I hope you can be on board with that. And I feel a little slightly less radicalized now, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm gonna It's 12:36 a.m. where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna edit this and post it and then drink a nice warm glass of cat piss and off I go to dreamland. So thank you guys very much for listening and watching PodGis. I hope you enjoyed it. I adore you. Thank you for tuning in. As always, you have all of my love. Catch my shows. I'm performing at Blue Mountain this weekend, Friday, March 1st. And then I'm doing like an après ski kiki, it's called. All of this is at Blue Mountain for Rainbow Weekend. You can go to Rainbow Weekend to get tickets to these shows and this experience. I'm also going to be snowboarding during the day. So if you want to join me, look out for me, reach out to me, and we'll go snowboarding together. Fuck yeah. And also my Val a New Hour is happening this Wednesday, which would be tomorrow when this is posted. Yeah, come out and see that. I just spat all over myself. Come out and see that. I'm going to be workshopping my new hour. There's tickets left available. I'm going to be improvising a lot. You see what I do right here. Wouldn't you want to see it in person? Holy shit, how awesome would that be? So, make sure you get tickets and come out to that. That'll be a great experience. It'll be a learning experience for all of us. And you'll see me adorably fight tooth and nail to come up with some ideas. And who knows, maybe I'll do the happy gay cupcake line. I think that's kind of funny. I'm going to make sure I write that down. Okay, anyways, fuck off. Bye. Have a good time. Fuck off now. Bye. Fuck off.